YouTube shortchanging me on my stream? Or why is the cell phone networks determined to reset my entire MAC address and lose the connection forever? Weird story. I guess I ought to put it back on Wi-Fi. Shout out to you. We're talking about Kabbalistic laws of universality. Law of gender, law of polarity. I think that was like 2 videos ago. And then somehow I gave them the domestic loadout for cohabitating with the opposite species, playthrough, and cheat codes. And then it cut me off. Fucking asshole. They're sending E's back. Front of the class, an aspiring scholar. That's in the East at the front of the class. You're like, shit. Skip the stages. Integrate that shit. You're gonna skip so many shit. You're gonna skip so many problems. And that's when the fun starts, because then you're gonna get to the real problems. I didn't get to the plot twist yet, so we're waiting for everyone else to come back. Like I said, I can get you to the promised land. I don't know about fighting all them giants. I know exactly where the promised land is. I'll tell you exactly where that shit located. But once I get to this water right here, good luck, nigga. Shit. You wanted to live with the opposite sex, man. Remember when niggas used to sleep in their own beds? Niggas used to have 2 bedrooms. Now they have a master bedroom. Very seldom. But people, like white people, used to sleep in their own beds in their own rooms. I went to a beach house one time, and I saw it. And the beach house was purchased by the old white people in the 60s. So when they were 30 in the 60s, I think. Is that correct? Yeah. They're about 30s in the 60s, and they're buying these beach houses off of Atlantic Beach in Carolina. And they kept it staged very similar for like all those years. So by the time I saw it, and they had these little ass beds in the room. And I had to ask, because like I understand the kids or whatever grew up, and maybe, I thought it was like how they could have been bunk beds. And he was like, nah, this is my mom and my dad's bed. What? White people don't sleep together? How did y'all have kids? I'm dead ass serious. I'm not even being funny. I'm trying to understand the science on this. And I guess like because they had that, they also had the crib. That's why cribs make sense. Because then you put the crib between the 2 beds. I wasn't doing the science as a kid, but it was like, oh shit, white people used to sleep so separately? I don't know how that works. I really don't. I want to know that playthrough though. Like white people, y'all gotta put us on. Like, make sure y'all get your fucking grandparents on a stream or a video or something explaining like the mathematics of like how your grandfather was fucking on your grandmother in separate beds or bedrooms. Because I kind of feel like there's some extra steps in procreation as soon as you're not laying in the same designation at least. So what was the workaround? Did they use the bed at all? Like the questions that are unlocked once you really explore this strange history of immigrants in America. So yeah, domestication. What did we say? We said dishes, easy. How to detect agoraphobe. You can beat them by cleaning the dishes. Trash, easy. Bathroom on the weekends. And do your own laundry. Probably why you do the bathroom, so they're locked in together. Time conservative and everything. You ain't gotta worry about a whole bunch of chores and to-do lists. Like, no, I'm gonna do these 2 things at the same time, done. I'm gonna do this every night, done. And in the morning, if I need to do this, done. And then you rob the joy that comes from them bitching at you and training you to do those things. And you take it off the table completely for them, and they have to like reason and bother you to try to do it themselves. Now, if you're a younger guy, you're gonna run into a new dimensional problem that probably hurts your feelings if you're sensitive to goofy bitches. But if you take initiative and leadership over these domestic disputes, way ahead of the game, way before you even prompted to do it, and you just do it, they may try to critique your results. And I need to tell you something. They can be very mean about that. Why you do this? Why you didn't do that? Did anyone tell you that you don't use this for that? Like, excuse me, ma'am. Whatever tutorial you're trying to give me leads you to 2 hours of cleaning. It leads me to 15. It leads me to 15. It definitely leads me to 15. Maybe I didn't know that. Maybe I'm not a little bitch cleaning the house because my mother is trying to make me a wife. Maybe I'm just a nigga that has to do his own dishes. Have you thought about that? So when you run into that energy, you have to ignore it. But if you want to nip it in the bud, you have to find a very polite way of telling her, like, yo, bitch, shut the fuck up. I'm walking here. I'm doing dishes here. Shut the fuck up. That's the only acceptable response to some silly shit like that. I know you hate doing dishes. I would probably know you know 1,000 better ways to do them, but you're not going to do them. It takes a lot of time and energy out of you. You don't like it. Bad memories, PTSD. This is why you over my shoulders now. You're already trying to mother me into the pattern your mother showed you, or your grandmother. I didn't grow up with those bitches, but I'm cleaning these dishes. So if you learn how to say that without bitches and shut up, you're going to win the game again. I can only lead you to the water. You don't have to draw your own canoe on that one. I find it appropriate, like, if they're contentious about it, like they're really triggered or PTSD or something. I don't know what the fuck. The dishes, bitch, like the fuck. Or anything domestic, because they're like that. They're very evil sometimes. Those types I'm remembering about silly shit that can only been picked up in childhood. It doesn't make sense to have that type of energy as an adult at all. Especially if the same chick can leave the sink filled up overnight. Like, I don't know about your childhood. No one in my childhood or related to my family could leave dishes in the sink overnight. So why are we going through this tutorial? "15 minutes every day, make sure there's no dishes overnight." Like, so why would I need these extra, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be able, especially if they're from the islands or stuff like that, you gotta be very aware that everyone wasn't raised the same when it comes to domestication, bro. That's the biggest thing. It's non-communicatable too, because they think everyone's black, everyone's raised the same black way. No, we're not. I'm Indian. Indians from the Carolinas and Virginia. Slave stories. So you don't have to. No, you don't have to train me. You don't have to. No. We've been doing this longer than you've been in this country, actually. Read about it. So you gotta embrace that about us. We come from people who've been doing that, free, slave, or not. Especially Indians in the South. Lord have mercy. That's why everyone's copying. Anyway, so they be forgetting we're Indian. So yeah, you could take so many future arguments and debates off the table, but if she's neurotic or agoraphobe or contentious about these things, then all you have left is a red flag, gentlemen. Because you understand, like, for you to unload so much energy off of their desk, just like they say, it's the thought that counts to a woman. So the fact that you've already made up in your mind and took so-called leadership to handle all these problems to whatever degree you can, right? You ain't gotta be perfect. It's you know what I'm saying? It's the initiative, damn it, that they always talk about. But if you're doing all of that already, good or bad, doesn't matter. You fucking doing it, right? And they still find a negative energy or waveform higher than that, and the problem is you. Oh my God, it's over. Go ahead and kick her out. Because I know the player answer would be like, well, fuck it, bitch, you don't like it, you do it. I gotta do it. Because when your mother come over 3 months later and she see you doing the dishes, she ain't gonna ask me what happened. And you're like, well, he told me, fuck you, you do it if you don't like the way I do the fucking little thing with the little glasses. You take that shit off the table, bro. You can't even use that. It's like in Fallout when you don't have the speech craft. Nah, because no matter where that path of speech go to, it's never good for you. So you might as well just do the dishes for the rest of your life. So you can afford a maid or a 12-year-old. Period. For real, bro. It's evil. It's rooted in something deeper than I'm aware of. But it's unique in our women. You ain't gotta read their story or find out about their exes or their boyfriends. Just look at how they deal with domestication issues. Look at how she manages stress when it comes to slavery. Because she comes from descendants of slaves, then none of that should ever been stressful. So that anger, that rage, whatever that comes along with that, because that's what it is. They mask it. I guess they're from Damascus, Jews, but they mask it very good. You know what I'm saying? But that energy they meet you at about it, if it's negative, it's like, that don't come from you. Impossible, bro. That's fucking impossible. You're trying to do all the things they don't want to do, and they have a fucked up energy towards you. Run. Bro, don't even try to figure out what the Pokedex entry is for why that is. Because I've never seen it work. I've never seen it work, bro. Some people would just be like, oh, she's just ungrateful. That's how you describe it. That's not what it is, though. It's not ungratitude. It's darker than that. That's why you do it, bro. I told you, we're not doing it for them. You got to do that for us, because it's going to weed it out so early, bro. It's going to bring that demon out so early, bro. We live in a paradigm where it's assumed from the past alleged that women just do this stuff, and then some men who are domesticated, sucker, we do the things and help out, or whatever. It's never good enough, but we do it, right? There's other guys who laugh, say fuck it, do what they want, and still go fuck other bitches and still live in the same household. So you understand that most women tell the story like they meet that asshole more often than us. So what I'm saying is, no matter who the guy is with these type of women of our generation, it don't matter what you say or what experience you have. They've already experienced unmarried asses. All the things that confirm their bias. Some guys may have caved, some didn't have to, and the more common story is all the ones who won't do and don't do because it's a man's world, allegedly. In their head, in the girl's head. That's why he don't do it. Maybe his mother didn't make it do it. Maybe the mother figured that he getting so many bitches that some goofy bitch would come along and take him off her hands and raise his ass and have his kids, and she'll be doing the dishes. So why am I wasting my time teaching this boy, sneaking out, talking to these bitches, how to clean dishes? You don't run into, you know what I'm saying? Like, that type of guy is gonna run into the bitch that does it. So you're just not that, you are that girl, but you don't like it. But you like him. Right. And that never works, because he'll fuck other bitches. Then they get to us, and they apply the experience of that version of reality to you, way before you even get started. They're looking for it. So that's what I'm saying. This is why this cheat code is so retarded. If you take initiative in the most important thing, and everyone's problem, because everyone wants to get off of work or whatever they do and come home and relax, right? But if you set the stage for that, and they're still angry, or have an attitude, or still starting shit, you're dealing with a different type of demon. If she's asking you why too much, why are you doing it? If she's trying to make it a competition or back and forth about why am I doing the thing that every bitch complains about? What are you talking about? What would my answer change? Because you're gonna ask me to do it eventually. Like, let's not be cute here. You're eventually gonna ask me to do it. You're gonna have a bad day eventually. Like, once a month, you're gonna have a bad day eventually. Like, you wish it did itself. And you may not be used to guys. You may deliver. I don't, brother. No cash. You're gonna have a bad day. You're gonna feel like the dishes should have did themselves. You cook too much. You use too many pans. And it'd be nice if I did it one day, right? Fuck all that shit. I'm doing it tonight. Way before you even plan that goofy ass meal, because you're happy for once, and then you use all your energy and you don't want to clean up because bad memories, right? Okay. Right. Why are you asking me why I'm doing this? I'm a football player. Getting reps in. The fuck? Because why the fuck? I don't do them every day. And then out of nowhere, on the worst day to do them, I gotta pop up, muster the energy in the skin to put my head in the game and do this shit just to make you happy. That's a bad fucking design in any form of communications. If they start putting you in a position to do the shit because of happiness, you're gonna lose. So you're taking it off the table. You're taking it off the table. You know how to clean dishes and clean your own clothes. Like, you should, right? No big deal. It never was. But it's a power dynamic in home. It's inherited. That's an inherited beef that their grandfathers won. So they're the first generation to win that. But then you take it away. By not making it a beef, by not making it a back and forth, by not making it a gender role, by making it your responsibility. And it's such a silly one. Like, this easy. Shit easy, bro. I ain't that messy. I don't use that many dishes. I do my clothes every weekend. The end. Like, the fuck? What we need to be mad at each other about while we're home in our peaceful environment? But if they take that peaceful attempt and turn it into something else, it's always going to end toxic. Because that's the preview to how they're going to treat every other thing. Every other expectation that she has created for you that you haven't ran into yet. It's not year 2 yet. These days, it's not month 3 yet. So just keep your eyes open. Run away from agoraphobes who are inconsistent and girls who don't like you cleaning on initiative. The only thing left on the table is who cooks. And you might not be a good cook. I don't think I am, except for when it comes to spaghetti. So what will I do? I'm going to cook spaghetti once a week. What the fuck you talking about? I know I make spaghetti and a whole bunch of other ghetto shit too, but I'll make spaghetti for us. And you're gonna love it. Any other day, you can shut the fuck up. Because I also did the dishes. You know how fucking spaghetti is. See what I'm saying? And whatever that is for you, whatever that looks like in your demographic. You know what I'm saying? This is algebra. You can switch the variables. It's the same story though. It's gonna have the same result. It's gonna remove a headache. The biggest headache that most new people have that start living with people is always domestication issues. First. And all the beef and attention to details and comfort and not taking shit to the same intensity causes all the friction, the distances, the curiosities, and going somewhere else. to another place where they don't do the dishes. Like, it's so funny. It's evil when you think about it. But you can get it without liking it. We as men, we have to get things without liking it. I don't like a bee sting, but I get it. I shouldn't go to that bee's nest unless I'm a beekeeper. Some people like keeping bees. The stings don't really bother them too much after a while. That's a weird fucking story. I hate bee stings. I think I only had 1 or 2 of them, and they suck just thinking about it. Fuck them bees, bro. And my family descendants of beekeepers, like, fuck them bees, bro. I got a different grandmother somewhere. We ain't fuck with them bees, bro. So yeah, and I'm a Beasley. I do this whole science on that shit, Northern Israel. So it's the same way. Like, dealing with women at first, like that, domesticated. It's like dealing with a wasp, bro. It's like dealing with a yellow jacket, or not even them. The ones you could tie a shoestring around. Yo, you think they're one of them? Just don't forget they got stingers, bro. They'll let you walk them around for a little while. But after they do too many loops, man, they won't be looking for your ass. Just know that. They don't mind dying for it either. And that's what women do. They'll die over their principles. Like, I'm talking about emotionally or socially. They'll cancel a whole relationship over that value system. And we don't know what it is. They don't describe it in their podcast. But it makes them very neurotic. Why does it have to be your way domestically? And if it has to be your way, why are you frustrated that you don't have help making it your way if you don't describe what your way is? And why would you assume that a boy has your way to begin with if you know that's stereotypically for girls? Why would you want a man to outgrow you? Because that doesn't make sense. You're frustrated that the man's doing what the girl wants the man to do, and you know that you're only doing it because you want him to help. You don't actually want him to be better than you. So look how many different loops they got to run through to be happy with something. And not even happiness. Why the fuck does this shit gotta make you happy? It's fucking dishes. Like, this is not a happiness quest. This is not a dopamine release exercise, and that's their problem. We already know that shit boring. We're gonna put a podcast on or some music on and be done with it. I feel like women who go out their way, like the active ones, they do it for the dopamine hit, for the satisfaction of someone else, which is honorable, by the way. But that's what they get for themselves too. Because if you don't react the right way, they'll feel like they did the wrong thing all over again. We don't do that. I think because men know that it's a toss-up to do something for someone else. Like, to rely your decisions to make you happy by making someone else happy doesn't work. Women try it all the time, though. If I do the thing that would make me happy to them, to make them happy, then I would be happy. What? Younger women tend that, like the younger millennial women had that logic chip. I did the things to make you happy. You didn't make me happy. And I'm like, huh? You did that to make me happy? I thought you were just doing that because that's what you do. See what I'm saying? The language is so subtle when you argue with them, when you hear these things. What do you mean by that? Oh, you did it with the intention that I would be happy that you did it. In order for me to be happy that you did it, so that you feel happy that I'm happy that you're doing it. You didn't do that for me. That's where the disconnect is. Then you did not do that for me. You didn't do that to make me happy. You did that to be in control of the energy. You did that for collateral. That's what you collateralize your intentions. Women don't have this language model. When you bring that to their attention, they sidestep because they're almost accountable. They're like, oh, he's almost right. I almost did that with the wrong intentions. And I'm going to argue because I'm going to feel bad in a second if I end up finding out that I contradicted myself. But my brain is running. Let them chat. Let them chat. They're working it out with themselves, not you. If you know the answers already, like I'm doing, like I'm giving you the cheat codes. Like, once you know where this is going already, and you learn from yourself, like, they just chatting at that point because you ain't learning nothing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing they about to say is gonna make your action different. Ain't gonna resolve the issue. The only thing you now is a fucking counter strike. It's a bomb defusal. She planted the bomb. She threw the defusal kit. Now you gotta buy it. Now you gotta get to the bomb before it goes off, and then you gotta hope you clip the right wire before the nigga snipes you. And the nigga sniping you is her, and friendly fire is off. So how the fuck do I take damage? You'll take damage if you don't defuse the bomb, they said. And they're in the way of you defusing it. And I'm just talking about in the conditions of contention within a domestic situation when it comes to these issues. I don't know where they learned that shit, bro. I don't know where that come from, bro. I think they have Jews confused with slavery. I don't think they learned that from Africans, bro. I honestly don't. I think it has anything to do with against their will as much as it's a heritage of the way we were raised in a kingdom. Like, imagine having to keep up a kingdom scenario and then lose that, or battles or wars or famines and deaths, and that is your tradition. But you now have to do that same act in a log cabin. And you do. That's the story you hear about your great-grandmother. And sharecropping or cleaning someone else's house. Well, they just lost theirs. They're not slaves, they're Indians, right? So, and then finally getting your own again, your own piece of the pie. Moving on up, you saw the Jeffersons. Get to the Jeffersons timeline again, 50s, 60s, whatever. For the wolves who came from the South and moved up north. They get it again somewhere else. And then they're teaching their kids, boomers, X, us. So our grandparents, so this is their first time with this stuff in their timeline. Of course, they want to take care of it. Our people wanted to take care of it because it took us so long to get it again on our own terms, and how long that took or how expensive it was or how hard it was outside would determine that you treat it a certain way. So then they teach their kids, and mind you, they have like 12 of them motherfuckers, bro. Our families, the Indians, we had like 10 to 20 kids just 4 generations ago. Like that just calmed down. So imagine how much more chaotic and fucked up their house is if you don't install that early. So like, is it slavery, or was your grandmother managing a bigger family? Your grandma got land, that means she got a house. That's why your mother cleaned like that. She was sent to grandma's house over the summer, and grandma got to clean that house every day. The wood, the stain, everything, like the dusting, all that. Like they gotta keep that shit a certain way, bro. Like that's all they know. Like, there's no other version of reality. There's no ghettos yet. There's no projects yet. So everyone in this country started with a house. Unless they're new, unless they're immigrants. I can't speak for everyone's story. I didn't come from a village in Africa. I've been in America since the 1400s on record. So you understand? We had houses the whole time. So cleaning wasn't because of slavery. Cleaning was because we had big families and houses. And the shit ain't gonna clean itself if you got 12 fucking kids. 12 fucking kids, bro. Imagine laundry day in that motherfucker. And that's when you gotta do that shit by hand. Like your grandmother had the nerve, right? To sit there outside or in the tub, just every piece of clothes. But mind you, they didn't have them fits. They didn't have Sheen cart yet. So they only had a couple outfits, but still, that times 10, times 12, times 15 motherfuckers. Including the one that's making all the money for the bacon. And you gotta do his shit the best because he gotta go outside in public. That's the pressure came from. The pressure didn't come from slavery. The pressure didn't come from patriarchy. The pressure came from pride. Of course, a lesbian feminist would turn that shit upside down for niggas. No, niggas wasn't because of none of that shit. Niggas had houses. Niggas had big houses, but they call them bond bills. You feel me? You seen those Tartarian buildings in like Newark and shit from the 1800s? That'd be one nigga's house. It's not a population dense timeline ever in the United States in recent history anyway, if you find the population sizes. But those buildings are huge. It doesn't match even the current population size. Very gaudy. You build where the fuck you went to when it's yours, right? Same story. What else are we gonna do? Go to work tomorrow? Asshole ass niggas. Like, you see, a nigga turned 20, all he can do is build his house. The fuck else he gonna do? Man, all right, welcome. Thank you for joining my TED Talk. Your daddy like that and his granddaddy like that ain't got shit to do with slavery. What else these niggas doing out here? If any other known story from the 1800s is some other bullshit ass immigrant got a beef with us on our land. That's where that comes from. Your grandmother Indian, nigga. Why she clean like that? Why she clean like an African slave? Like, wake your dumb ass up. Your grandmother Indian, so she had a house since houses been on this land. Notice I did not say Native American. I don't know who the fuck their grandmother is. But the American copper-colored Indian? You taught the world how to wash their legs, and you think cleaning comes from slavery. Wait, your people created aqueducts and bathhouses, running water. How many hundreds of years ago? So imagine how many grandmothers you're related to that have washed dishes. You think that's because of slavery, my nigga? You think cleanliness and keeping a tight house is like slave labor? Oh my God, the crime of putting niggas into apartments and townhouses in suburbs and ghettos. You literally forgot where you came from, which is why you settle for the single life, the car, and the mid-rise, and then you detached yourself from your grandmother. Your grandmother had a house before you finished college. Your grandmother grew up in a house, a plantation owned by her father, if it's Southern story, like wake up. Or Bonneville, if they all had money, Cotton Kings, Cherokee, you know, the trails, you know, whatever it is, skins, deers, horses. As time went on, nigga. Different grandfather, different story, but catch up to us. Like, all of them niggas had houses. What the fuck is going on? And they were fucking, because, like, I got, like, 20 great-great-grand-uncles just in the 1800s. The Civil War could spare some sons. I saw it. Like, damn. Evil as fuck. Well, I get it. It's too many kids. And then, you know, beef and shit. And there's all teenager wars, if you know your history. So, maybe that's why. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's why. You know, shit kind of weird and intense. Caribbean people have a weird story. Because we know there's plantations and work fields and opportunities there. But I don't know if that is slavery that is sold to us in America the same way. We are given the consensus, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong. 3 in the chat when you hear it, if this sounds like your understanding of slavery. Slavery in America was the worst because unwilling participants who were victimized by something somewhere in sub-Saharan, exclusively West Africa, caused them to be rounded up, chained up and shackled, put in unfair conditions in transport, and if they survive, they get to come out to these woods because there's no development, there's no roads yet, so now they gotta survive in a totally new environment, climate, diet, and do forced labor to achieve, I don't know, the first white person's house in Virginia, and then somehow they're in the field picking cotton and items expertly that they never grew in sub-Saharan Africa. And then, like, from there to around the Civil War, yay, now we're all at the same time free. No one had the internet. And then, like, we've been struggling to compete to get our own footing in these new foreign forced immigration and burning cities and rosewood things. But naturally from slavery, when you leave the plantation, like, where am I going? And you end up in Chicago, right? And then people burning crosses and shit in front of you. Like, you go through all this shit because you were a slave, unwillingly sold by Africans on a Jewish name boat in English or something like that that rhymes with white people, and that gives white people their storyline in America today. But for you black people, the only reason why you're here is because some white people brought you here as slaves because Africans didn't want you in Africa, though you're African. But we don't know which country did that because they don't teach that story in Africa. But white people believe it, so you believe it, and now we're here, and everything we do now is in reaction to our slavery. Is that the correct synopsis of why black people associate the past with slavery and why we do what we do today? Because we first came from somewhere with no recollection of why and what that was, and then we ended up here free by ourselves to our own devices, trying to figure out how to domesticate our households. We don't know how to do that because slavery and anything before it is kind of like below where we currently are for some reason. After surviving on this planet for tens of thousands of years so far. Like, the first time we got a chance to get it right was now in the 1900s. Because of slavery, right? I'm just following, man. There's a lot of twists and turns. It sounds like some shit a woman would make up. It sounds like the neurotic, agoraphobe type women used the idea of slavery and where we come from as a reference point, and they do the thing that women do and created all these connections and loops to create the conditions to feel so deeply and hurt and scary and fear and ugly and traumatic that clean the dishes are. It only do it not sound like a woman. It sound like a young girl who's like angry that she has to do this shit in this big ass house by herself. And she can't go outside and run into that little boy that she went to. So in her head, she's telling her this long ass story because she read and she go to school and stuff. So she learned about from the mean white people about slavery. So now she's internalizing, like, why is her mother and dad so mean? And why is grandma working like a slave? It's like, oh, because white people. And meanwhile, they live in a town of Pennsylvania up until 1950 where you've never seen white people ever in human history. But somehow you in fucking Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina was a slave in Mississippi the last century. And like, you never want to go back to Mississippi. You never seen a house in Mississippi that you had to clean, but you know it's there somewhere because you heard a mean thing. And it's like, that's 100% our remorse or survivor's guilt as Indian grandmother descendants is purely the speculation of a little bitch who don't want to do dishes. Think about every slave movie. There is never a scene, whether it's The Color Purple, Eve's Bayou, Cinderella maybe, like every scene where you depict women who are codependent for survival in a house. It starts with this poor girl is doing dishes. This poor girl is mopping the floor, but she doesn't have a nice dress yet in her closet. This poor girl, she's being sexually assaulted. Girls who don't do dishes get sexually assaulted, first of all. So that's not a slavery thing. That's a nigga that needs to be put down thing. Y'all should speak up. Anyway, but I guess what I'm trying to say is so much of what we feel about something we heard about something that we never actually experienced seems to be agitated by the fact that we're fetishized the 1800s in slavery when we found ourselves without things with no account for why we don't have it ourselves in the same time and space anymore. So then we project into the universe and go, what's the polar opposite that I can imagine to describe why I need to go so hard to have something so average? It must be because of slavery. And then we skip the whole thing about war and winners and losers, and we skip all of that part. Like losing a war in your territory would make it seem like when you start over again that you just got out of slavery. That's without a whip to your back or a chain on your hands. You have to leave your homeland. You gotta find out somewhere else, start over again. Ain't like there's a Bank of America and a loan program. You literally have to cut down the trees again yourself. The house that your dad built, there's some dickhead or some white boys living in it. You notice how all of that ain't got shit to do with slavery? But as 1868, the slaves were free because of a war. And it was a civil war. Civil for civics. So it was a paper war. There is a pirate battle off the East Coast. Most people don't know it was a naval. And then somewhere in Louisiana, moving up north, there's the French Suave. Louisiana Purchase, I get it, but there's Suave, Moore, Fezes wearers down there. That's not in my McGraw-Hill history book, but, you know, they were here. But whatever that is, the black women came up with, no matter what the details of the war is and what their fathers did and lost or gained, no matter what the story really is, until they're able to pop their pussy on their own at 15, everything else is slavery. Feminism applied to fake victimhood to Indian descendants disguised as African slaves, and a story that was about a war turned domestication into the side effect of slavery and not being civilized, decent people. I'm gonna just make sure I got that correct so far. That sound like what happened. That sound like psychological warfare of a little 12-year-old girl. Probably wrote a book about it and everything. Imagine if my Indian grandmother was a slave with all that land she left to my auntie who stole it from my uncle. Imagine if they was on them plantations and all that land they own in the deep south where slaves were. All that land they own in that deep south where slaves are. Imagine if we, us, them, was like tired of the men for treating us like the white man was treating them when they were working at the Ford factory in 1823. They're not imaginative enough for me. Like, your daddy didn't have a job, bitch. Your daddy had a house. Do you know how houses were made back then, sister? Your father made his own house. Meaning your father and his brothers and his cousins and his uncles cut down their own trees. They did that on their own land. And those deep South slave stories, that land belongs to Indians, faggot. Y'all are Indians, damn it. So if a black African slave got free from his plantation, he ended up with us, didn't he? Damn it. Which one are you? That might be the difference. For all the fuck I know, every girl I run to, grandmother was a slave in the Caribbean. I was like, shit. I'm sorry, guys. I'm from the Carolinas. I don't know what the fuck I can do about that today. But now, we're not treating you like a slave. We're upholding the expectation of our household that was set by other women in our family called our grandmothers. We did not know that was sold separately. We did not know that was a negotiable item. My grandmothers made us clean like slaves. That wasn't because of slavery. That was in like 1992 actually. That was like when hip hop was coming out. If you was at your grandmother's house, that's like going to slave camp. You know what's crazy about life? My mother's dad, my grandfather, he was single when he was older. When I was spending time with him, he did everything his damn self with a broken leg. Like he was disabled when his legs were broken. He did everything: shopping, cooking, cleaning, with a bum leg. Big dude too. He used to be a football player. By himself, looking disabled and miserable because he used to be the fastest guy ever with a bum leg. Imagine how he feels. And he still managed to do that and didn't even push me to do much. But still, if I used the bowl or whatever, I cleaned it myself. So it's like, but he didn't have to stress that, right? But a grandmother, totally different story. White grandmother, nah, they do it in real time. You don't even have to touch nothing. Indian grandmothers who have a house, you gotta clean like a fucking slave, bro. You don't think it's slavery? The whiteboards and everything. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You was outside when I was outside. You know what I'm talking about. Them girls don't even do that when they clean as much. But it's not a competition. It's just this is an apartment. Your grandmothers made y'all do that to a house. Like, how's this harder? We don't even really have carpets no more. How's this harder? You ever sweep a fucking carpet, nigga? Alright, so like, what we talking? Why are relationships not relating and domesticating enough? Is it because like men and women think different and yell and argue about stuff? Or is it cheating, sleeping, skeezers, Tinders, and Instagrams? Or is it because no one can decide who's gonna do the dishes? If I wrote a red pill book, the title would be "Do the Dishes." If I did a spirituality book, it would be "Finish Your Breakfast." But after you finish your breakfast, make sure you do your dishes. That's it. That's all it is. And you're gonna weed out a lot of problems in yourself and in the people you attract into your life. And that's probably the hardest thing for a young man to get used to. Nipping shit in the bud, because you're never gonna know what it could have been. So you're gonna feel like you're robbing yourself of experience. You're gonna feel like you're too hard on somebody. No, you're not. You lack wisdom and understanding. The knowledge don't change.
I thought you were going to
The knowledge don't change whether you do it or don't do it, whether you nip it in the bud or don't nip it in the bud. The knowledge is the same. How much you can tolerate is the difference. That's a different story.
keep going, come on.
If you can tolerate domestic passive aggressive abuse from the opposite sex for the long term, and you work that hard and you not really got to deal with it, and you can balance time and stress because you love her, then cool, fuck it. But before you fall in love with her, man, you can find out so much about how they associate their role as a person with domestication. Toby, man. Marry a girl from your own tribe, bro. They call that equally yoked. Life today has never been hard as a couple versus any other group of anybody we're related to ever in human history. This is the easiest it has ever fucking been. And it's crazy that women and men, I guess, but women in this case are fagging out about living with a man because it's so hard to manage two people. Coming from people that had 20 kids. Somewhere in you is a real bitch who micromanaged 10 plus people in the most evil and racist time in human history. So much so your ugly, goofy ass is here with us. But we get here today, 30 and over, and people are fagging out and crashing out over domesticated issues. former slave descendants. Like, oh my God, like, can you fucking imagine this? Doesn't even make sense, bro. That's not even a natural progression of if that was our condition. We wouldn't be crashing out over the things we mastered for 400 years in slavery, right? You think Negroes get better with practice?
No, sorry. No. Sorry.
It's all good.
Get going.
Shout out, Jonathan says 3. Yeah, it's based on observation and experience, and being cooked by every female I've ever met. That's probably the only good thing about it, man. I learned so much about slavery by dating our own sisters. The textbooks didn't tell us how it was. But go ahead and live with one of our sisters. You don't learn everything. You don't learn everything that sucked about slavery. y'all ain't gotta admit it while she watching. Mr. Now says, and if you do a study paper on spirits in the household, title it Chemical Warfare in Dishwater. That's hilarious. New kind, the dolphin of France moves to America. What's the dolphin? What's the dolphin? Who is the dolphin? What rank is he in his society in? Why is he moving to America? Ain't got no bitches out. Mr. Now says, how it go from that Dubai toilet? This wild shit. Haru says, oh Lord, Mr. Now. Just to run away and become a sex slave because the pay sounds better and the dishes in the house she doesn't have to buy ever again and didn't have to buy them in the first place. You can save on dishes by not buying so many. Don't tell Sears that. Anyway, Fundamentality says, I don't think I ever recovered from the post 2015 and 2016 culture decline. That is trending in videos lately. The 2016 marker for music and social decline. So they're giving it a 10-year marker. New kind, I've worked in the dish pit before. I'm the best dishwasher in the fucking world. Come on now. Miss Penny, oh shit. The lady says, this is all of our awakenings, not for someone else to go through our minds to tell us that we can't say or do certain things. That's true. That's true, so. But if you hear ye, hear ye. You hear what I'm talking about. Just quantize it to your reality. Just quantize it. We're producers, most of us, so we know how to quantize shit. Or Melodyne, double tap pitch corrected. But that is the waveform. That is the feelings of what's going on. Mr. Now says, I've never been stung by a bee in this beekeeper ass mountains, but they always do come near me. Does it hurt like a pulse hurt or hurt like a needle? I don't know. Everyone has a different bee reaction. That's what's weird about them. But they swell the area of impact. And it's a pulse, like when I strain my shoulder or arm. It's just there, but then it's hot. It's like the sting is hot. And it's a sting, not like a medical needle. I hate those, but maybe those don't even hurt. The impact, the drawing hurts. Whereas the stinger is kind of like poisoning your ass. So it's hot, red alert. And it's like irritating as fuck. Like even when you take the stinger out and you cover it, you still feel it. And it's like a weird hot, like a weird pain to it because it's unique to bee stings. It's not like a mosquito bite. Mosquito bite gets itchy. If you're the type of person like me that breaks the scabs and stuff, it's annoying. But a bee is kind of like, it's not, it could be itchy to some people, but that's not what's annoying about it. It's the fact that it's hot. It's like that first feeling you felt when you first realized the nigga stung you. It's just doing that over and over and over and over until the antihistamine or whatever the fuck it is handles it for you. I think that's your body reacting to the poison. Even though if it's not non-lethal to your blood type, it sends the same emergency. Like you need to remove this needle. You need to treat this if you can. You know what I mean? Make you want to put ice on it and shit like that. We put mud on it to draw the stinger out. And maybe within like 2 days, maybe 3 days, if it's just a 1B, that feeling goes away eventually. It's annoying fucking 3 days though. Karenin, have you ever been to England? I should though. That's where my daddy from. He's the king of England. Mr. Now says, or if your name is Jason Statham, it's hilarious, bro. Threes. Free dishes in the sink overnight equals gnats and flies, ain't it? TVFP13 says, who we pissing off here? Jonathan says, too many keys. 3 back at it again. Composure Slim is sending E. All back in the building. Hi, how you doing? New Kind says, keep it player. People get into relationships and expect to control the other person. That's stupid. You gotta watch Bill Bellamy on How to Be a Player. That was one of my favorite as a kid. I gotta watch it again as an adult to see if I learned any domesticated things. That's how to be a juggler. He was juggling women. That's different than being a player. Not all players are juggling. He was juggling. That movie was like someone trying to imagine how to juggle that many fine women. You can't. That's how you know it's a movie. But I get the science though. Like individually, like you interface with any of those women individually at once. That's how you would play it to avoid damage. But I don't recommend that movie in real life. No. Nah, man. We don't even have those type of women no more to even, and I don't mean nothing bad to the modern women, but the women that would make you feel like you're missing out on women, that's not a thing. Like the temptation of a man right there. Because women are going through their sexual liberation. That means men are too. Because they're getting access to women they normally wouldn't have sexual access to. Across countries, borders, counties, genders, races, all the shit. Fat, skinny, light skinned, ugly, beautiful, easy, rich, poor. Like, that's new to the boys too. Y'all tripping, bro. You forgot we were Jews. So if the peak novelty of women was probably the 80s, 70s and 80s. Sound like our uncles had more fun than we did. Fucking bitches. But by the time you get to the 90s, the beauty standard, the breeding of the previous generations, you had more access to different types of girls. So maybe that's why the boys were more non-committal, because they're like, I saw this other girl at the other high school. Well, they don't want to get married, so you know what I'm saying? What am I holding it down one for? She has like this whole list of 10 years worth of shit we gotta do before it's even serious, so what we're doing was never serious. Doesn't mean feelings don't get hurt. It's just, they made dating a blood sport. You date, then get married. You don't date and then date again, and then date someone else, and then cheat, and then go single, then go through a whole phase, then date, and then get married. No one has ever done that in human history. That's new to you, your auntie, and maybe your grandmother, depending on what side of town she grew up on in the 70s and the 60s. But it wasn't population dense, so it wasn't all of us niggas. Your grandmother was Indian. That's not her story. Shut house. So yeah. Fuck what they talking about. 3. I've been stung by bees, wasps, hornets. Hornets are the worst. I don't want to even talk about it. They look like they're worse. Anytime I see a hornet, I move the fuck out the way. I don't like them. I don't like them more than I think I like spiders better than hornets. They just feel evil. Hornets be on bullshit, bro. Hornets be on bullshit, bro. Those Charlotte Hornets. That's hilarious. I just caught that. North Carolina got Hornets, but they don't got as much as they advertise to name a team after them. Or maybe we just killed enough of them off, because them sons of bitches are mean. Yeah, Hornets are the mean ones. And they're huge. And they're fast as fuck. That's why they're dickheads, bro. They're too big and too fast to be like, have an asshole spirit. Hornets are bees with an asshole spirit. Bullies. They're the bullies of bees. You think the wasp is bad? Nah, the wasp is territorial. The hornet is an asshole. Wasps normally have a queen nearby. Hornets be going on solo missions fucking you up. So wasps are more royal. You see? Jews that kept bees, and then modeled their society after protecting the queen. But I thought Moorish created chess. I wonder if Jews were in Moorish Europe. Part 5. How you doing? For the person asking me if I've ever been to England. Nope. But my grandfather was in the 1500s. Up until we stopped going. Seems like that rhymes with the 100-Year War. That puts us in the 1600s. And then all the revolutions, France, Europe, America, 1700s. And then they try to even out the balance through the 1800s. And they did all that with just me being Indian. No African slaves are hurt in the making of why we're no longer in England. But the fall of Granada is why we're here. My families are the ones who came here from the fall of Granada, Andalusia. The golden era of the Moors is my father. The one that's from England. The golden era of England is my family. I do not have a TV show on Netflix, unfortunately. Y'all don't know who Smyths are. That makes sense, because most kings and queens are not assigned a last name, are they? If the kings and queens were assigned a last name, then you know that the kings of England were Smiths. John Smith, the immigrant, you would say that he was from Kent, England. He came to America, made Trenton, New Jersey. Then you had Newburgh, North Carolina, Tuscarora colony for the Indian side. And then you had whatever D.C., Virginia had going on, Jamestown at first. Remember, Jamestown is named after King James Town, Virgin Mary Bible land, right? That's day one. That's day one. All of that is in English. And that's all my family who came from England. What we don't understand today about England is that we don't know what England means. Through years of dirty macking and backdoors and third partying, since we've been here, so that's 500 years. Nowadays, when you think of England, you think of like white and or British royals cosplaying in these Tartarian buildings. So then you make the error of doing a history of the colonization of America and make a beeline from the people who came to be Charles and Elizabeth today. Ancestors were the same people who profited from the Americas at first and also were emboldened by the slave trade with Africa. You assume like all those dimensions are the same, so no matter what in your memory, white people had to be in that position for 500 years in a row. And whether that's true or not, I'm the code breaker. I can prove to you that's not true. Because my grandfather's the king of England. That's why he's the king of the colonies. I'm the king of England's grandson. We cleaning dishes ain't had shit to do with slavery. Do you know who our grandmothers are? Oh, Queen Elizabeth Smith. You see how it's a polarity switch? Queen Elizabeth's grandson. I think I manage an apartment or two. I think I'll be all right with a 4 to 6 bedroom house. And if we want to try manors, mansions, Bonvilles, or castles, I might have an epigenetic memory for that shit too. But we're gonna need some more kids. I had like 20 aunts and uncles in those generations because having that many kids is a rich man's sport. Royals have time to be fucking like that. That's not a slave story. You wouldn't have to buy so many slaves if slaves were really fucking. Why do you think they bum-ass, evil-ass try to do the perpetual slavery? They broke as fuck. Which tells you the slaves weren't having enough. And that's exactly what happened to Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and those islands in the 1700s and 1800s. Whoever they forced to be there to breed, to do the work, stopped having kids. Thus, it died off working class-wise on its own. They beat slavery by not reproducing. That sound like niggas? So look at all the progress we made. I have 0 kids. Whee! But if I got a good job and learn how to do fucking dishes, oh my God, can you imagine? I might qualify for a 2-year relationship. My granddaddies were fucking, bro. I think they had time to do dishes. They don't understand England. That's why they don't know that my name is English. I'm DeyZan Smith, descendant of Elizabeth. That DeyZan part has S in it, the same way that Elizabeth does, the same way that Essex County does, same thing, the same way that Jesus does, SU does. That right there is a dead giveaway. That word is in English. What's that name? What is El, Isa, Beth, Lehem? What kind of name is Elizabeth? Queen Elizabeth. It's not bad for me. What is 13% and also 50? Any of my Jew cousins 10 years older than me? I imagine. We're the 13. 13 tribes, 13% of the population. That's us. Royals are never the majority of the population. They ain't read that Bible. So when they talk about like Illuminati, blue blood, and secret families and all this goofy shit, that's just white people chatting. No one blood bluer than mine, bro. And I'm just some nigga kid in Vegas. I think the only difference with me, my power level is over 1775. That is not the first time my family had a government or civilization. So they can suck my dick. We are the king of England's kids. When Moors were kings of England. Moors were kings of everything. But that story they fix, that they don't teach, they don't do movies on for some reason, not even niggas. If they ever did those stories about the fall of Granada and afterwards, 1592. They ever tell the truth about the end of the 1500s and stop acting like it was 100 years earlier? And they put it right there where it's supposed to be. You understand why my grandfather, the King of England, relocated to Virginia. The story writes itself once you know those dates. Now you know who the people are and where they went. They went here. That's what happened to the royals of Europe, the black ones. What happened to the Moors that ruled Europe? They went to America. As a matter of fact, we don't need when the rocks cry out. We don't need the other brothers, the Moors, Temple Sides America. They only went to Moorish Temple Side America because my grandfather created that. You know what I'm saying? So everyone today, my contemporaries who do with the Moorish temple stuff, it's cool. It's beautiful to see it still out there, and it could reverberate back to me. And now I can understand why I got so many circle sevens across my life. Because something inside of me wanted me to look at it more seriously. And then you find out I'm related to the guy, literally. And then my grandmother has this goddamn kufi on. And it damn near broke my heart that I couldn't see that. That shit hurt my feelings. I didn't realize that till she was dead. I spent the whole first half of that pandemic trying to call her. And then by the time she was dead, I didn't get no answers about Indian this or that in South Carolina. I asked her grandkids, since it's my great-grandmother, whatever lore they could remember as from childhood. I got enough references. And I needed to know the other tribe name. And my Crystal, who just died last year, she was like, Saponi. Oh, Virginia colonies. Duh. Cherokee is the Carolinas and down at that time, that those blood types. And Noble Drew Ali, the Hindu, that's a migration from Asia, West Indian Tea Company, East Indian Tea Company. But he's a noble. Alfreds, Moors. He's a noble amongst Moorish families that relocated to the Carolinas. French Huguenots, my family, Beasleys, Lighties, Roberts, Thomases. There's a lot of them, but those names right there, they're very important. Since they're all Indians in the Carolinas. And Noble Drew Ali's a Moor who had a daughter with one of those princess Indians types. With all the beads and stuff that we associated with witches for some reason. Anyway, royals. High priests, royal high priests. Like those type of royals. Not royals like white people cosplaying for museums and TV. No. Royals in our degrees, because I just told you all the names, in South Carolina, around Indians. King James colonies kids. What you have to understand about England and the kings of Moorish civilization, and I'm speaking specifically, and this is what confuses people in our territory now. I thought you said you're American Indian. I am. How's your grandfather the King of England? Because niggas be fucking. But they're not white. That's why I'm not white. I'm Moors and Indians. Moorish people and their Indian associates. Annexation of Texas. I'm literally the Moor and the Indian. And all their mixes thereof would be such, right? Same story. King James colonies. Moors and Indians. Europe and the Saponi. Hi, how you doing? Disney tells the same story. They whitewashed it and Native American washed it, but they told our story. Beautiful story. England, knight, captain of a boat, John Smith, the immigrant, discovers the North instead of the Caribbean. So he's after Christopher Colon alleged. So in your line, it's like, oh, white people just kept coming over here in every language, right? So the white guy in English language, this white guy, he's speaking English for some reason. After the kings of Portugal, queens of Portugal, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense, church, but you know what I'm saying. What language do pastors speak? Shut up. So he shows up and he got this long hair orange girl that doesn't exist in real life. Because go to Crayola Indian Red in Google and look at Pocahontas goofy ass. Like, stop fucking playing with us, bro. But they got the hair right, and some of the culture right. You'll see the feathers and the fringes. So this guy, this knight, falls in love with this girl while trying to stop a conflict or rebellion or slave story, but they just didn't have enough Africans in the storyline. Right, kind of, sort of, maybe not really. So 2 problems. Fringe culture. So the Indians in this story, as of 1500s, if they happen to be Inca, which they are, because what ends up happening is a royal bloodline of Europe, Moors, comes to America, and thus they're going to be paired with a royal bloodline of the girls in America. Then they have a child who's now royal on both sides of his family. And that's how royals and nobles would do everything forever, if they ever come from that type of pattern, history, cultural tradition. Wait, though. It's not what you see now with Meghan Markle being the 6th descendant of some black European Moor and the white guy being the king or queen of England, but he want to live in Canada. Like, this is not their syllabus. That's not what that is. That's not even what England is. What they're doing in England now is not what England was created to do, right? I'm going to describe these signs to you so you understand who I am and who they are, and how who I am and who my parents are is not who's in the story, because it's not their story. And these motherfuckers are doubles and hypothecating liars. So I'm not giving you a blackwash version of the same story. No, I'm giving you the obvious, only story there could ever be. I'm DeyZan Smyth-EL. Smythel. It's in my name. John Smyth-EL. Just hold on. So that's England coming to America. This is after alleged the fall of Granada, because we assume fall of Granada is 1492, Christopher Columbus is 1493. Thus, there's like a weird 100 years where things change from Portuguese and Spanish to white and English. Because Spain and Portugal is Moors. So even if you had 100 years, everyone would turn white at once. And you can prove this to yourself with the crypto Muslims, black, crypto Jews, black, and all those stories from the same time period over there. So they're still dealing with black people if they're crypto, black, Abrahamic, Judaical religions. Being described as a pedigree, not a church. Black, 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 even after that. But just now, their rulership, commerce, is handled by what? The church, the big church now, using Christians. That's a new government. With a military, with a priesthood of magicians, because of who my family is. So then you have to match, well, who took over for my family when we came here? So, Royal High Priest Prester John Smyth-EL, the de facto, if you will, King of England, as of the fall of Granada, 1592, he's located in Virginia. Just the whole region, but that's the Virgin Mary, like his grandmother, right? Virgin Maryland colonies dedicated to King James, his father. So the King James Bible brought to America as of Virginia, as of 1611. Why it is there? It's because my family is there. It's not because of Christianity. It's not because of slavery. It's not because of a church. It's a family. King Prester John Smith's family Bible, dedicated to his father, King James, the Holy Roman Emperor of England and Europe, seated in Germany. Heinz 57, Royal High German. That's who my grandfather is. That's who came to America. He's a Moor. All that means white people, because I know you're confused. Yes, he's black, because my grandfather and me are the same nigga. How you describe me, whatever you, African-American, black, tall, light skin, whatever the fuck it is, that's a Moor, I'm a Moor, and my grandfather's a Moor. Cool fucking story. The coolest, from 7-Eleven, my nigga, to 7-Eleven down the street at my checkpoint. 7-Eleven is reminding us of the date that the Moors ruled Europe. So from 7-Eleven until 1592, that's my family. That's my family story. That's not Black history. That's not Moorish history. That's my family story. We're the ones that were betrayed and overthrown and sent running away April 1st with burning boats. We're the ones that escaped slave trade and what they did, and indentured servitude and just laid low as a secret society, sending our fathers and our kids or our sons to their grandmother's house, sending them this way to make sure we survive genetically through time. It had nothing to do with our kingdoms or getting our castles back. We knew it was on demon time because we're royal high priests and not niggas. So a royal high priest of New England. Gotta follow these words because they just casually convolute English and England and white and rulers and TV shows and Harry. No, these are Moors. We didn't do it like white people. White people are trying to imagine if they did it like us. That's not what we're doing. And I can tell you that just by telling you there's a difference between whether or not it's a Black English king or a white English king. That's not where the difference is. The difference is in why it's a Moor. It's a Moor, like a Mora from the heart, love. Hebrews read backwards. Roma, the Holy Roman Empire of Moors. The Empire of Love, Amora. Roman, Amora. Moran, Moreno. Holy Moorish Empire of Love. This is after the Bible. We want some new shit. Real hip hop. We be fucking bitches, having 20 kids and stuff. Like, we want some other shit right now. We ain't making swords. My grandfather. Solomon and Sheba's babies. The Song of Solomon. Like, after him. Like, they just kept running in that direction. On David. They got bitches. You understand? So it became go forth and multiply. Hence, Moors in Europe. My family in Europe. Not Africans. Not Northwest Mauritania satellite sister colony. Moors. Amora. Romans. It's important to know that. The Holy Roman Empire is Moors. That's why it's called Roman. Deadass. You would describe a Roman as ruddy colored. And somehow white people think that means a white boy with a suntan or something. I don't know. But I know King David's described as ruddy. And we know he is what? A Jew. Okay. So for sure in the Bible, a Jew is described as ruddy. And for sure, when you get to the etymon of Roman, as white people determine, it's ruddy skin color, something like that. Red bone, yellow bone, but they're white. King David's not white because King David's greatest grandson, Jesus, is copper colored. Skin of bronze. So we have ruddy and we have bronze. Ruddy, reddish, bronze, copper. Crayola, Google Images, Indian red. Oh, they're Indian colored. Yeah, man. Yep, India did not exist in the Roman Empire. So whoever those people you call Indian now, before it was India and before they were called Indian and before they used English, what were they? Did they change locations and maps and names in English? No, but they're the same people, right? So they talk about that. What happened to Egypt? Well, something with Greece and Africa, and something with the Romans. Alexander wanted to take over the whole world. He's a Caesar. Where you get that idea from? Technically, because we're making him white, he's the first one ever, but in real life, with Hebrew Israelites in the goddamn Bible, it's the next generation of pharaohs. Pharaohs were in isolated lands and regions between mountains, running water, and the sea, but usually more valley-centered. If you listen to the descriptions of the Bible of how they divided the land, they're not describing East Africa or a desert, but they crossed the desert to get there, right? Like, that's Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa. Like, do they use their imagination? But it's America, by the way. Save you 33 degrees with the Masons, okay? Just take everyone's secret society word for it. So it goes from ancient Egypt, as we understand it, through history in the Bible, and then something Greeks and Hebrews, because same story. Hebrew is Greek, so same story. And then Hebrew meaning Eber, meaning those who cross the waters, Moors. So they're from somewhere else. When you see them, they'll say they're the Great Westerners. All right, so that means they came from America. All right, right there, ready people from the Americas, the most extreme West. And America is known in Moorish history as the Maghreb al-Aqsa. Well, being the most extreme West to a Muslim or Saudi Arabian today would be something Muhammad. But if you're saying that before Muhammad and before religion became churches, what you're saying is this person's from America. And we don't know how to go there because it's so far away, and we don't know how they get here. We think they're flying here. And they would be correct. On Mama Inga, they would be correct. We skipped the pirate ships. We didn't need pirate ships to get there. They needed pirate ships to get here for the first time ever. But we and they are not the same, even though they confess to come from England. I doubt it, because everything in England's named after my family. What I'm saying is someone white would have to step up and notice that everything in England is named after their family. And then they had to notice me or someone in that degree and say, all my cousins are black? How I ended up white today. So no. I'm still the same color as Reddy Romans, Indian red, as they've ever been all through history. And those are those Caesars, those pharaohs, those degrees are my grandfathers. You understand what I'm saying to you? I'm a Smith. So builders, masons, the church, royal high priest. We're like, so when you see the stories of the bank and the church 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 is all in everyone's business, that's us. Because the church is our business. It's our Bible. The Bible is about my family. The Bible is not a religion or God or you know what I'm saying? It's all of that, but that's not why we have it. If it's our church or our dominion, and that is our Bible and our commandments, what that person in dominion of that Bible is saying is that this is his family first. Way before you get the white people, Africans, and everyone else taking their turn. No, that's a family Bible. Every chapter in the Old Testament starts with who your daddy is. And that was important when you get up to Jesus, like, why is he the Messiah? He's one of King David's grandkids. Oh. The only significance to take away from that is that King David, Reddy Roman Emperor, is a Jew. Jews come from Egypt. Egypt is America. Jews come from America. One more time, ancient Egypt in the Bible is America. The Israelites and the Jews in captivity with Egyptian pharaohs, American pharaohs. We get out of that captivity with the help of divine sky people, Nomo, Salish mythos, Dogon. Mankind version of us splits with them. They give us some cool technology and weapons in exchange for fucking on our bitches. Then we go to Europe, Africa, and the rest of the world. That's why our Bible is in English. Because we create Englands. It's E-N-G, land. So the first colonies of America called New England. Because a new caste, a new generation created the same thing somewhere else again. 1611. So the New England is not created by the same English kings that you read about in history anyway. But New England is a continuation of them because this is their damn grandkids. No one else becomes the king of England without being English. I'm not saying they can't lose a battle in their castles and their real estate fall of Granada. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, if you put anything else in that position, in a building they didn't build, in a story, in a language or a religion or a God that's not their own, at best, for history context, they're cosplayers, they're dickheads, they're narcissists, they're not in charge, they don't have no power or authority. They have taking over a ship or business and promising better wages. And if you elect me to be your president, I'll stay here in this fancy stuff and you slave hard for me and then we'll go get them or something, right? And that assumes that your royal family and kingdom of your bloodline are all going to work with a foreigner without the sword and want to stay behind, which is why we have 13 fucking colonies and not one. So my grandfather didn't come to these colonies by himself, but he's absolutely the king of England. But the problem with that is brothers, cousins, uncles, kids, and that's just boys. Now what about the queens, princesses, ladies, and everyone else? Where are they going to go? Are they going to stay behind with little wild white people and tall wild men? Or are they going to follow their brothers and the Moors and all our associates that we fought with in wars from 711 to 1592? I think we're going to bring all the tribes of Israelites with us back to the promised land in which we come from. For we are the Holy Roman Empire of Jews that come from Egypt, Amexem, Mexico, America, Hakupta, Tamari, the land of the eagle, the Egypta that's in Egypt is the land of the eagle. The land of the eagle is America. Look at your dollar bill real quick. You're gonna see the eagle, and then you're gonna flip it over, you're gonna see the pyramid. The biggest pyramid in the world is where? Mexico. All right, they broke it down a long time ago because they're evil. Cool story. Moors build pyramids because Moors come from Egypt. That's America. We come from America. 7-Eleven until we come back home. Prodigal sons. What has changed? Nothing. With royals. What's different with society is how these individual nations of people moved around and existed with foreigners or in captivity over the course of different intervals on different sides of the world. 10 tribes stuck in Tartary, other tribes always in America, not population dense, but minding their business. They're not the royals, but some could be hybrids, Jon Snow kids, but that's not what they're living through. They're not in the wars, they're not with the tech, they're not doing all the extra shit that my grandfathers are doing. You have Russia, Tartary, China, Mongolia, Japan, Southeast Asia, everything else to place a sun at. And your sun could be part what's there on a human, on mankind side, and that's infinite possibilities. But that sun would still be, us. He would still be a Jew. So it was a worldwide empire ran by Jew kings up until 1868. After that, we are introduced to Jewish people who have done none of those things I'm describing to you, or they would be the kings of England today. The king of England yesterday was a Jew, demonstrably, John Smyth-EL. That's why he's accredited with the entire England-Britain colony, first ever in human history. Why is it named after him and his damn father if he's just a regular knight under some other king? How come that king or his son never came here? Thank you. And why would they be Smith? That's a Jew name. So a white guy from England sent a black Jew to America to claim the lands and name it after his family? Because the King James Bible is the family and history of Jews that are royals. The Holy Roman Empire is the Holy Roman Jews. Judah, there's 13 tribes. The Jews are Judah. It's confusing. Judah could be fucking anybody. Dan, Maghreb, China, whatever. But as long as daddy, Judah, Jesus, David, Solomon, Judah, Joshua, Judah, Jesse, Judah, judges. As long as the descendant of the judges, the high royal priests, as long as their fathers in bloodline, that's your royal class of Jerusalem. Israel's a different place. We go together though, we're family. They're named Israel after Jacob. You understand? You have to understand that. Israelites are named after their grandfather, Jacob. All that's saying is that that's their patriarch. It's a patriarchal society because literally in a patriarchy, sister, in a church patriarchy, in a Bible patriarchy, your patriarchy is your fucking father, dickhead. Not a foreign white person, not a slave master, not a corporate, not a visitor. It's your literal father, your uncle, your brother, and all the nigga drama that come with that. Yes, but at least it's your patriarchy. It's not the patriarchy. It's not white patriarchy. It's not class patriarchy. It's you live in the household that your fathers and brothers killed giants for. If you're my damn sister. Everybody, brother and sister, don't got that fucking story. But King James and King John does. It's in our Bible, stupid. That's very unique to the Jews of the Bible. King David the Jew killed giants. Can you fucking imagine? Jews and Israelites are known for killing giants. Can you fucking imagine? King John the Knight comes to America where the Indians report there's a giant Winnebago problem in Minnesota in those regions. We ain't got that problem no more. I'm assuming my father and his brothers and his best friends and Lancelot and Guinevere and all them niggas just whatever, Ark of the Covenant this, Ark of the Covenant that. I know big brother Carlos or daddy or whatever Carlos down south did the same thing with Mama Inga before she left. But we want to clear out the ice lands. Now they trying to get our Greenland. Like, come on, my nigga. What froze it? So, 1592, 1611. The King of England, through the storyline of Jews who built the shit, the Empire of Jerusalem and Israel, in its new names, because time has moved on. Maps have changed, battles have been won and lost all over. But at the end of the fucking day, 7-11 forward, the modern, what you call Victorian era of civilization, medieval, Moorish, all that, is due to Judah. You have to understand that. Like, I'm talking about world history. This is not just not because it's my family or the Bible. No. That's who these people are. They're Jews. They're Judah. Flying fist of Judah? Judah. What's a Jew? A Semite. What's a Semite? An Afro-Asiatic. Stop the tape. You see how I remove myself out of Africa? None of my story has to rhyme with Africa or African American. That's not what my grandfather is. John Smith is not an African because he's black. He's not a Northwest African because he's a Moor. No. All Moors are Orientales. And Orientalis is the old way of saying Afro-Asiatic. The Orientalis Moors are different than the Negrito, or Negroid, or you know, because those words also tell you how big they are. So it's a pedigree. They're that size because there's no one tall in their family. So that whole group clustered there, sucking and fucking over however many years, because white people act like they were there at the beginning. But however long this group has been to itself, incest degrees, all kind of shit, it makes sense they're cousins. So like, that's a pedigree. That's not our pedigree. That's not even our blood type, actually. For us to become giants, we need a very particular blood type. So, blood types change, but the origin doesn't. The expression does not. So anyway, we are of the Afro-Asiatic stock that you call Semitic, that white people and Jewish people had kept exclusive to Shem. They would love in that stupid demonstration about Israelites and Jews, but white people were talking. That means Shem is that, whatever that is, Chinese. What the fuck? Look at the damn Chinese flag date. Stop fucking playing with me. In English. Like you named it Chinese in English 2,000 years ago. Shut up. Motherfuckers be dumb, boy. Anyway. And then Ham is the black one. And then Japheth, you know, Japan, like Japheth, you know, Japan, like Japheth, like Japan is like some other shit we make up. So we go Chinese, Japanese, and African. And we skip America, Australia, and the Promised Land, and Egypt, and all that stuff. And the white people, Jewish people, black people go to church on Sunday, paradigm in their brain. And that's without me even knowing these niggas. I know that's how they do it. Because that's how the words lead you. But you have to know what these words mean. Semite means Afro-Asiatic. Moor means Orientalis. We're saying the same thing. Moors are Semites since ever since. And they may have hybridized them. Can you fucking imagine? Princes, kings, nobles, and knights fucking on foreign bitches, and now they have new Morisco kids that may want their own identity, depending on how many of them niggas are still in their grandmother's house. They might relate to their grandmother's father more than their own father, since their father gotta go to war again. All right, so Israelites. That's why it's a worldwide empire, because we be fucking bitches worldwide. It's not an empire because we made a building or put a flag down. That's why white people say, if you put the flag, no. We didn't plant flags. We planted dick, nigga. Like, we literally planted plantations, new people. There are people. Why would they be slaves? The goal of the kingdom and empire is to expand our bloodline and our name, not how much trade routes and These are some good acres one day to grow some lettuce. Like, you faggot, we're royals already. We're not trying to create a bed and breakfast, dickhead. We fucking bitches and taking over kingdoms. On King David, nigga. Like, they read this Bible or they skim through it. Or there's sexual perversion and confusion and a sad story about their no-no parts. Don't let them relate to real nigga shit when they read it. Like, the motherfucker had 300 wives and 700 side bitches. You think that's a white boy? You think that's Jesus, the white boy's grandfather? Got 1,000 bitches and then washed their ass once until Moors came? Alright then. Cool story, bitch. Too bad it's in my name. Smith, Semite. It's a Jew name. Beasley. It's a Jew name. Thomas. It's a Jew name. Lighty. It's a Jew name. It's the Jews that colonized the whole East Coast in the 1600s. They're black. So it's not historically accurate to say Moors discovered America, because Moors intonate Northwest Africa. That's just one part of Mauritania's history. Mauritania is in America. Northwest Africa, later known as Greece, is a satellite of America in Northwest Africa. Just look at the map, you'll see it. Like, oh, that's why niggas was up there. Today you have Morocco. Now there's lighter skinned, fairer people. What's important to know is that they're people. We're not people. So that's why it gets confusing to even more learned people. They're like, no, but there's people there and people who claim this and this artifact there. Yeah, you find a lot of human artifacts all over this planet. Yeah, that's not our ancestors. And what I'm saying is the artifacts you find over there, they're not the royals, and they didn't build those castles. So like, anything could have been there before, after, or during. It's not theirs. What I'm saying, its namesake in English isn't about them. Since Jews created English, it's their Bible. King James English. English defined to tell a Jew and Israelite story, correct? Just walk through that in your head a little bit. You got kings and queens of England right now who created the King James Bible in King James English, a book dedicated to who? A Jew named Jesus. A Jew from a history of kings and emperors from Solomon to David, all the way up to Abraham, amongst the pharaohs in Chaldea, which is in America, and even further back before the flood placed us there. That's a whole nother epoch, though. This is our bloodline starting over, though. Antediluvian flood story. We don't know that story in the Bible. Why would we be talking about it? We just got through another one, nigga. But we flying now, so you understand everything. So that whole bloodline of the Old Testament is a Jew bloodline. So King James Bible about the royal bloodline of Jews is who? King James can be nothing other than a Jew if he picked a Jew Bible. The way they hypothecated us, the story in church, in our Bible, is by saying English, white, whitewash, iconoclasm, and now Christians who are doing all the evil shit to us. Like, I'm talking about classic, the real Christians, like not the people identified as Christians, but the Christians in the war that came to our shores. They came to the shores and found Jews already here. The Holy Roman Empire ones, but we're their kids. My grandfather is not in the Holy Roman Empire lore, fights and battles. He's in the Prester John Smith ones. But now I'm gonna code switch one more time for you, so we can wrap this all up and keep it very simple. These stories I'm telling you are not about a bunch of different people. They're all one man. So let's flip this coin again. Holy Roman Empire is Moors. Oh my God, can you fucking imagine? Straight out of fucking black ass Egypt in America. They're American Indians. When was America called America? When was it called India? All right, the fucking then. So does changing their fucking name or updating their language change who the fuck their daddy is? No, not at all. So most people are stuck in 3rd grade with that shit. Those are Jews. The Holy Roman Emperor is a Jew. I don't know about his side bitches, his cousins, his best friends, the drug dealers he working with, and how they're allowed to live and fuck on some of their kids. I don't know all the arrangements, nigga. But I can see the streets today. Like, niggas don't really have picks when it comes to fucking bitches. So there'll be a lot of cool kids. And they might all live with us and might all do the things. And if they come to church with their grandmother, they're gonna better fucking listen, or we beating their ass. But at the end of the fucking day, though, the leaders are still my family members. That's the only part that doesn't change. That's what makes it unlike a democracy, the stupid shit we have now. Is it goes to random foreign immigrants, gay, faggot, stupid. Like, it's no consensus in the blood, no consensus in the family values, no consensus in their upbringing, no consensus in their background, but they want to do a continuum of leadership. And wonder why everything's all fucked up, lopsided, and confused, because they're idiots. And they've got degrees at being idiots, so you can't tell them they're idiots anymore, because they think they're better than us, but they're using our English. Wrong. Anyway, so Angleland, Eagle Land, Egypt. The land of Egypt, the land of eagles, the land of angels. America, the promised land, the holy land. The angels watch over it. Then you go outside in America and you get more UAPs per capita. Don't you? Go to my YouTube shorts. The land of angles, the land of lights, the land of UAPs. Eagles landing. Heru. You look like a falcon that landed. So they put the feathers on them to denote that they're flying. You go to our Bible, same niggas, same Jews, same Indians. And they describe Ezekiel the same way. Different animal heads. Just like an Egyptian, right? Because the Hebrew Israelites came out of Egypt, right? And the Hebrew Israelites show up over there, right? And Egypt's over here. So the Hebrew Israelites who cross the waters from here to go over there, 7-11. All right now. Because it doesn't matter about no buccaneer. It don't matter about no captain. Don't matter about no cool fighter. Don't matter about Mr. Bitches or the light-skinned ones. All that we know is everyone's speaking this language because it's a new King James English, and you speak that language all around the territories of King James colonies, here and there, because he's a royal. And you're doing business with his coins, with his face printed on them. You remember? We probably don't remember that because we see little fake faggot, ugly ass white people that never lived on our coins. But back in our empire, if you find these coins, they're there. You'll see a whole bunch of coins, full nose, big lip, flattened because they're dickheads, but black people and kings in the same place that they're supposed to be white kings. But we ain't find no old ancient cache of white king silver ever in human fucking history. Only models, and imagine if this white king had his own money. No, you own them swords in Paris and the swords everywhere else over there. And you find a secret stash or old, bar or whatever the fuck how it was. You played Oblivion. You find that shit. It's a bunch of niggas on those coins. Those niggas are us. Whether it's the ops, distant cousins, however it planned out in terms of good and bad and better and worse, that's all nigga drama. And obviously, because we're here now. So it's all nigga drama. Piled up on a donkey with the immigrants and the new things. And we remember, in my story and our story, we don't know what the other things are. The best we can do is God tells us if they're introducing us or tempting us with foreign God and ways of life, then to keep it where it is. We're xenophobic about God, not skin. That's a big difference, white people. Y'all got to step up. So we over here, 1592 and prior. Carlos is now south, 1550s. John is up north, 1590s. And then King James, England, fresh off the printing press off of Switzerland, the Holy Roman Empire seat of the printing press of the Geneva Bible, 1599. Well, we got that printing press over here by Virginia, 1611. How you doing? That's John Smith. That was my father. That was my dad. That was my dad. My dad brought Christianity to America. No, he brought the Holy Roman Bible to America because he's the Holy Roman Emperor's grandson. Code switch. What happened to Tartaria? It's the same story. The Holy Roman Empire, not the Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire in Tartaria is the same story at the same time. But when ends up happening is over there, the record keepers of that timeline are former Mohammedans, now Arabic, not Arabian Moors, not Arab, A-R-A-P, as you'll find them in time. Today they're Arab, So that's not their language, so slaves, cool. But they adhere to the Quran, whatever version they have, not in classical Arabic or Hebrew, but they don't know Hebrews or Jews. But they have their book in a Jew language. It's a weird story, right? Since the same Jew angel, Gabriel, showed up for Jesus, is the same Jew angel that showed up for Muhammad. So if a Jew angel showing up for Jesus, then what the fuck's Muhammad, you dickhead? You see how easy this shit when you really them niggas and you know how to fucking read your own family story? Like, it's not even a guess. It's like Archangel Gabriel, who visits John and Jesus, visits Muhammad. Jesus was 33 when we last seen him in our book. Now he 40 in their book, and the same angel's coming to see him. Where are the three kings, nigga? Like, shut the fuck up. Because then when you understand he's Muhammad Conqueror, because he's Muhammad Khan. And Muhammad ain't that damn language because he ain't fucking English. Michael Khan. Archangel Michael in human form. It's almost like there's a Jinn or a DJ or Djinn inside of him. It's like he has a blue flame on Solomon, who is fucking with those demons, bad bitches who are very magical since they're royal high priestesses. So can you imagine their sex matcher and tantra and what type of spirit they bring in for their fucking kid who's an emperor of fucking magic? There you go. Now you realign your shit real clear and you understand it ain't nothing to do with what the faggot white people came up with. None of it. It's in a King James Bible about the royal bloodlines of Jews. That's it. That's it. It don't go no. It can't go further than that. That book exists to establish hereditamous. And every other treaty with every other country today will refer to tribal names exclusively from our Jew damn Bible to this day. So of course, if the oldest book of catalogs of birth records is in a particular language, then it transitioning to English is a continuum, not a random stranger occupier translation of a cool story about niggas, wonder where they went, but we'll do their things and say, hey, this is our land. Like, no, faggot. It's not your land. Kill yourself. That's not what that's about. How the fuck can England be yours, bitch, if ain't no angels in your family? L's. My grandfather's John Smyth-EL. So it implies that he's English. You know how like having a black father will make you more-ish? Well, my grandfather's English. That's why we speak English. It's kind of how his father talks. King James English. So the father of a king or an emperor is a what? Why we have blue blood? Because it's not from this planet. We're talking about sky people, Anunnaki, royal high priest of Anu, Israelites. We're the royal high priest of Anu, Egypt, America, Hakupta, Jupiter, Mercury, Michael. You see it? Over and over and over again. And and everything I said was Greek, Roman, and Egyptian. You know, it's like they're parallel to each other. So the only thing that changed was a nigga's accent. Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, French. That's a medieval time period. Same niggas, like, you understand? And now we got English, Ebonics, and this, and why white people determine cool words. It's polarity. English is the coolest one and sticks the longest because you can get the point across without changing the dialect. Is it read or read? You know what I'm talking about? So same story. Is it a color or an action? Come on now. It assimilated all of our languages into a universal Unicode language. It's like a JavaScript. You'll see the French influence, the Italian influence, and when I'm naming these things, they're not countries. Those are kingdoms first. So I'm naming different kingdoms that have a different take on a Hebrew derivative language. So that's different sons with the same daddy with a different mother tongue in their motherland. But thank God their father, who he is, cleared out the dickheads and the bad guys and then started building walled cities and castles for their babies. Not for strangers, for their kids. I got 300 wives. I have 300 mansions, manors, or castles, depending on, you know, who her family is, to build before I die. And action. Eventually, over time, 400 years, everyone in that place will be the same bloodline. It just takes time. it runs out. You run out of novelty and unique foreign. You know what I'm saying? Like, for everyone's in that city, and they fucking over time, 3 to 5 generations. Everyone's cousins, kind of, but they're so far removed. And then you just do that for 3 to 5 more generations. It becomes a nation of people. Like how you see in some of those areas of Brazil or Puerto Rico, like clusters. Like, they're all mixed, but they're all the same mix for the same amount of time with the same ingredients, with the same church, with the same fights, you know what I'm saying? Same diet. Now they're the same people. They're a nation of people now. We created nations. We didn't create cities. We didn't create ghettos in that sense. We did not create mobile corporations for profit. No, we're fucking bitches, getting money, having children, teach them how to fight so they can defend themselves, because niggas got haters. But those niggas in these stories are all Jews. Judge, Tartaria. Genghis Khan is the king of kings of Tartaria. Tartaria overlaps the dominion of the Holy Roman Empire. So the king of kings of the Holy Roman Empire is an emperor, and the kings of Tartary is also an emperor. They're the same person. The same territory doesn't have 2 different emperors with 2 different religions. There's one emperor. There's one imperial majestic per generation over the same territory, and more importantly, religion, language, and church building. All those mosques out there in Tartaria are Mohammedan. Mehmet, Muhammad, Quran, Gabriel, the Conqueror. Archangel Michael's the Conqueror. He's the king of heaven. It's like Apollyon's son or something. And Jesus is like the son of God. Like Michael is the son of God. Jesus, the son of God, is like Mercury, the son of God. Y'all can catch on eventually. When we stop code switching Hebrew from Greek to Roman to describe the same shit, just a different grandmother's hot take. Morse created all the card games, tarot readers. Do the science one more time. Now look at the Mayan calendar one more time, Mayate, and even that's in the Inca territory. What I say about Mama Inga, English. Amazon goddesses, giantesses, men of renown, hybrids, angels, elves. They're Inga, but they're not EL. They're YL, extra large, YSL, nigga. Those are giant royals. So the giant royals passed the baton to Carlos V here in the 1500s. Gave him David's scepter, whatever it's called in their language. That's what we call it because we associate with Solomon and David. That's not what it's called, though. Y'all understand? Those stories happened before we can call it any of these things. But we, you know what I'm saying? Over time, we're adapting, and that staff exists. Aaron, Solomon, and then Carlos V. We know those 3 characters have the same staff associated with them. Aaron, Solomon, Carlos. There's no reason to assume those are 3 different people. But if you did, though, then you have to do them not horizontally, vertically, because they're being passed the staff downward one at a time. It's not 3 different niggas, 3 different stories, 3 different languages, 3 different kingdoms with the same fucking staff. So the staff is in Mama Inga's hands, while allegedly the Jewish people and Israelites that are white say something happened over there. Weird. Why did all that happen over there, but my grandfather's getting the staff that happened over there from Mama Inga, Inca, Indian, Israel, Jerusalem, passed to him, Carlos V, King of Kings, Holy Roman Emperor, black guy, by the way. Even his damn chocolate bar is a chocolate bar. That's my grandfather, bro. And I don't get 1 tithe for them using our likeness and image to sell chocolate in this bitch. That's how disrespectful this fucking world is, because fucking white people want to insert their shit into whitewash bullshit. Anyway, I'm Carlos V's direct grandson. I'm John Smith's direct grandson. But they're not like this, they're like this. Ablu Khan, Hakata Khan, Tartarian, Khans, Orientals, Moors, Afro-Asiatics, Jews, King of King, Royal Jews, Royal Black Asians. They're not hiding the history of black people from Africa or Greece. They're hiding the history of black Asians. The niggas who taught Bruce Lee's people how to fight. Judah. The judges. Genghis. Jesus. Justice. Libra. Lucifer. Venus. Medusa. Greece. Rome. America. Mexico. Mama Inga. Those are not different time periods of different bloods, of different stories. It's a linear story of the same people and horizontally fucking on whoever they want to, but they're keeping the same people and they all would be Afro-Asiatic descendants. I'm a direct Afro-Asiatic descendant because I'm from the royal families of Black Asians. That whole shit is ours. But we come from America. America is my homeland and my promised land. But the world was civilized by my grandfathers. 7-Eleven. It was Black Asians that civilized the world. That's why Africans are still primitive. We're not mankind. You understand? Hopefully that makes sense to somebody. It shows you all the genes and the bloodlines and all the goofy shit you read about in like the bloodline of the gods and the blue bloods. It's like the blood is different because the species is different. Fuck the color of it. It's not African masonry mysteries, it's Oriental masonry secrets. Yep, it's Oriental masonry, which is Moorish masonry, which is Afro-Asiatic masonry, which is King Solomon, which is my family. Blacksmiths are masons. Master builders, pyramid builders, temple builders. We come from the land of the eagle, America. Modern civilization is American, not African. Stop fucking playing with us. You seen San Francisco World Fair, nigga. It looked like you fighting fucking Sonya Blade and Kano on the top of our fucking building, nigga. That should look like Mortal Kombat in real life. Do World Fair San Francisco 1800s. And I just told you Moors built that. But that shit look like Shang Tsung's palace, right? Because the Moors are Oriental and we're Afro-Asiatic. There's Arab Moors, there's Black Moors, there's Negritan Moors, there's Morin, Morus, and you notice like the vowels in between those words change. That's the same thing as changing their blood types. But we're Mers, technically, if we stack this up. Mers would be my size, M-E-R, Mercurial Venetians, meaning we have mercurial blood, so 6 feet and up and all that other shit. Then you have Mirs, which are the giants or the angels. Them little faggots in Saudi Arabia borrow it. But the brother Shogun, he has a different version of it. His is Amir, but it's Ymir when you're a giant. So YMR. So angel wings next to the Moorish body. The Ymir, the Emirate, the Khalifa, California, the Caliphate, the Black Asian experience. None of them niggas in Saudi Arabia are Black Asians. So like, I get to see the whole world cosplay on some bullshit and still on our granddad's dick. Anyway, so you understand what I'm saying? Like, my neuroticism is a little bit different because it's based in reality. Like my last name is still Smith. Oriental Mason. Like the family of Jesus. My grandfather, Carlos V, he has his last name. When you see Holmans or Habergaston and all that, that's Jesus' last name. And his language. More Jew language, whatever the fuck that is. Aramaic, whatever the fuck. That's how you say that. That's a English, how you sound it out in their language, but you're saying it to someone in this language. In our language, it's Smith. So they say Jesus was a carpenter. They're saying he's a mason, right? Masons. They say he's a blacksmith, right? He's a descendant of David and Solomon. David Smith, Solomon Smith, Jesus Smith, James Smith, John Smith, Dwayne Smith. The only thing that's important in that is just that they're all Jews. So Masons, Illuminati, and Jewish people have a mock copy and paste interaction going on based on the reality of who our fathers are. They hypothecated it, went to college, did the weird gay shit with the colleges, and the Kappas and all that, and the skull and crossbones, you know, anytime a nigga gotta show his drawers or jack off in a coffin in front of you, you know it's not going towards God or Jesus. So they hypothecated the model of these things, and they added ish to it, like angels add ish to it when they're part human. So they're following the language rules, but there's no one Jewish in the Bible. There's no one from Israel in the Bible. There's no Israelis in the Bible. There's tribes, bloodlines, families, fathers, leaders, capos, chiefs, Sharifians, Chaldeans. There's, you know what I'm saying? They don't have that degree because they're fucking stupid. And I can say that in King James English or King Dwayne's English, however the fuck we want to do it one day. I just know I could copyright it, but they can't. Right, as above, so below. So same story. What did God say? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why that's a higher degree to use that. Because only a royal would ask that question. We have to be conscious of what God said because God is our Father throughout heaven. Holy be thy name. Holy Roman Empire. Holy be thy name. The King of Holies. Holy be thy name. Holy is your name. The Holy Roman Empire. So the kids that Holy had with the Romans, it's our family Bible. It's how the fuck my tribe ended up related to God. It's not because we went to church or believe. It's because he fucked one of our grandmothers. Virgin Mary. Virgin Maryland colonies dedicated to the mother that got fucked by God. Can you imagine? King Jamestown. I wonder if he could have named it fucking anything. Maybe he could have named it after his parents. Come on, dog. Then you look at the picture of Virginia, and I show you the guy that looks like Solomon or Ka-El, Superman, and Superwoman. And you're looking at them, and they're dark-skinned Indians in red, white, and blue, fringes and feathers, and those are Israelites. Those are the kings of Jerusalem and Israel that Solomon and Sheba depicted in Virginia. Come on now, fuck with me. Remember, they drew that shit way before I was born, baby. I wasn't there when they drew those. There was no AI, there was no computers. They drew that before we got here. And it was good enough for the museum, and it's good enough for you to buy that $1,000 book, and it's good enough for Abe's Books to sell the book with those drawings at $150,000. So we know ain't no one trying to source a rare collectible fact and maps and drawings and history of America about bullshit if the rich nigga gotta put $250,000 down on to make sure the book get to him without the damn pages tearing. Now do we, Bruce? They treating our shit like it's super high fudge in this bitch. Our books cost a fucking $100,000 just for you to fucking open it and see it for yourself. We the only ones in the world where our history, you need $1 million to see the real shit. Thank God we're hackers. You feel me? You feel me? Thank God you can find PDFs and shit and wares and stuff. Goofy as fuck in this bitch. That's why I got that book. It's about my family. My mother is on the cover of it. That's Mary Andrew for sure. The Empress of the Americas. Since the land belongs to our mother, the mother of our matron, or mother of the Americas, then is Virgin Mary. Virgin Mary, Virgo, Libra. Virgin Mary is the mother. So Lucifer is the mother of who? Heru, Jesus. Liberty is the mother of justice. Liberty is the mother of Genghis, the judge. Just keep doing it. It's all the same degrees no matter what. So are those different people in different times, or are these all degrees used by different parts of our kingdom? About the same fucking person. So, I hate talking about this. Because our father is different, we're all the same. You know how like Adam genetically is Eve? So you had Adam, the genetical original, and Eve, a clone with a different gender dimensions, so a different tweak of his variables, and they come together. It's kind of like incest, but then they had twins. But mind you, it's not what's going to happen to retards today and all this shit, because those are humans. These are not humans. You got to understand, you know what I'm saying? There's no cut. The uncut genes, uncut copied, reproduce, two uncut twins, boys, alleged, right? And there's girls and stuff implied, but they're not following that. They're following the emperor. Like, why? Who died and made you king? Well, if we want to talk about it, on the created side down here of the story, my natural father of my mother's is Otto the First. That gives you the Ottoman Empire. He's a giant, though, so there's some super hot fudge in that story. 21 centuries ago, 21st century Fox, or it's actually, yeah, 21 generations ago. I'm the 21st of Otto, or Charles the First. So I'm like, I would be equivalent to Charles the 21st if you do it in linear succession, but generational wise. So I have cousins, some cousins, I guess, who be in my generation, who could technically be that. But the difference with me is I would be from the oldest to the oldest to the oldest. So my generation born in the 80s is Carlos the 21st generation of grandbabies. The only difference is I'm direct seed from him and direct seed from John. I don't know too many people like that. South and North America. Like, no matter what they're talking about. Now, mind you, these two are related to each other, but because we live in such a strange timeline, people go, all right, the 13 colonies is fine. You can't do that with me. I'm not just one of the random families in Virginia. I am the emperor in the painting, talking to Mama Inga, being given Solomon's staff, who's now over the dominion, which is later hypothecated by the Castile family in Sidi Muhammad. Very Mohammedan. For the king of Jews to get a Solomon's staff, and then America becomes Mohammedan over time. And that's weird because those terms are trying to describe different Moors and different religious and different church or army affiliations. It's not describing what those really are, because we're Tartarians anyway. We're Black Asians. We don't have a religion. You see what I'm saying? They hypothecated, made a church, made a religion, made it do as I say, do as I do, and go kill these niggas and steal their lands part two. So we got the wrong version of our story. Nah, what we were doing is our family. We're sucking and fucking. It didn't matter if we didn't have a belief system. It's nothing to believe, nigga. Like, we're here because we're not human. Like, you understand? Like, if you go further back in time, and you're us, like my tribe, Judah, there's no reason for us to believe that when like just as anyone in my bloodline, we go to Philippines today. I'll go past a Filipino, Aboriginal, their grandfathers, and he's like up to my hip. And he's dark, he's Asian, and I do a quick scan. I look at his hair, I look at his eye color, and I look at his lips tilt. And I go, oh, you're mixed with us. Or I go, oh shit, you're the Negritos. You're the little Asians that left China and Taiwan, but I guess you ended up in the Philippines. Beautiful, you lived. But you're mixed with something else now. The Felipe story, right? I'm not Prince Felipe's baby, but those are the niggas that took over after we already came back to Virginia. So a different type of nigga. But he could be mixing with Israelites or Jews, but if he on bullshit like he was, you know he ain't from the Holy Roman Empire. And that's when those faggots start being named kings of flags in hypothecated castles, or kings of languages that they're not Hebrews or Phoenicians to create. They end up kings of named of things, but they're the king of something not in their language. So even if you don't know the history, whether they added it, take it back, black or white, it doesn't matter. Why is this nigga the king of something that he ain't? Why are you the king? Why are you a white king of Jew English? Because white people would have just won the game already just by being Jews since England. All your presidents should be white Jews. Blah, 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 blah. You don't have that. You have a bunch of mean ass white people, some crackers, some racists, some white supremacists, Holy Quran, KKK, Christian churches, burning crosses, but got a book called Quran, closer to Muhammad. So I guess they're crypto Muslim eunuchs and Mamelukes, high dragon Templar ass niggas from the Boston Tea Party, right? Bitch ass niggas. But we know those are black Christians that dress like that first. And I'm not Christian, I'm a Jew. So you see, you got to be very careful, because we're describing all these degrees about God, church, religion, And all of it's in the same language. So when you do history, and you do commentary, and you do opinions, this is just me, I'm saying you, like I'm projecting the thought. I don't listen to anyone that's not an Afro-Asiatic. They just be chatting. What the fuck can Elon Musk glean from a podcast that two white boys had about Genghis Khan? Looking at an Asian guy. Temujin. Jinn shows up in the Quran. Why would Chinese people be familiar with jinn and genie and a Hebrew Arabic word? How would that be a Chinese story? That don't even make sense to you when I just said that out loud. Imagine how many people don't think that inside. Like, his name is Temujin. Jinn is the genie. Genies are the demons. And that's Solomon stuff. So Temujin, Genghis Khan, King of Kings of China, is named after a Jew or Israelite concept. Just like Muhammad and just like Jesus. That's crazy that Genghis Khan, the real character, because that's my real grandfather, Muhammad, you can't draw him, we don't know who he is, but let's use Gabriel and the Conqueror. And then you have Jesus, which is a anglicized version of the word justice to tell you that he's connected to liberty and Libra, freedom, freeing slaves. He's a Messiah. Just like Virgo, even if she's blindfolded, she's holding up the light. Follow the Northern Star, bitch. Like, understand, like, and she's standing on the Northern Star. Shit, Tartarian, right? Right over here in Maryland, right over there in New York, right? She's standing on a Tartar base plate on an artificial island off of New York, right? And it's supposed to be a big black copper-colored Venetian woman named Libra, right? Telling you what age it is over here when we built it, right? On some Mayan calendar shit, right down the street, right? But instead they turned to a faggot named Addis, and they associate that with Greeks. But Greeks are existing in Northwest Africa, Mauritania, but they're African because they're different human species. They're little niggas. So I could tell by the history of the people, in the paintings, in the narratives associated with them, oh, this is like the handful of little niggas living in the small junior castle, trying their way at being civilizations. Cool. The fuck's that got to do with our language and what we talking about? We come from the timeline of giants. So for them to skip giants and go straight to little tells you they're not in our fucking story. Lord of the Rings, nigga. We're not the dwarves. The Lord of the Rings, the King of Kings are not the dwarves. So why the fuck do we think the Kings of Kings, as big as their crown is if you've never seen them, why do we assume a little 5'5" pygmy bitch that's blonde hair and blue eyes needs a football helmet that fits my size? Olmec. Yakub, Jacob, the big head scientist? Olmec. Yakub, Jacob. There's no J in Hebrew. Yakub is Y for angel. And he's wrestling angels, ain't he? And he won. Men of renown. Hybrid. It's the bloodline of hybrids, Israelites. Hybrid what? Hybrid monkeys? Mixed with what, though? Those are who the Kings of Kings are. Our particular version of that, at our height, our story, our timeline, our map, our language, our traditions, our customs, our God, our religion, starts with Solomon, a black Asian. The creator of magic, royal high priesthood. It starts and ends with us, buddy. There is no one else. For there is no other source but the Most High God of Israel, and there is no other. So how can you be a sorcerer without our source? You cap as a motherfucker. That's why your shit sucks. And the best you can get out of it is gay. And you can't even do that without shame. Bitch nigga. Stop copying and be something you're not. It's not illegal to be yourself. So, for us, same story. Well, if I know who that's who that is, and that's who I am because I'm his kid, then I have to be myself too. I have to act like a Jew that knows he's in captivity. I can never code switch off of that. But that's not what black people have to do. That's not what Choctaw have to do. Although we'll find out what tribe of Israel they are one day. But that's what Judah has to do. Because Judah is the judge. I'm the bloodline of judgment. Genghis. You understand? We're the ones that decide whether or not they live or die, right? And my grandfather decides how many people died during that time, correct? Do this, the human story of Genghis Khan. He's attributed to like anyone that had a fucking problem with his Jew ass, they're dead. David was the same way. Joshua, worse of all of them, I think. All their dads. You have, oh, that's a nice building and castle and wall city you have. It'd be a shame if I call some angels. Yo, Elisha, your help is coming from over the hills. Look outside. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. These niggas fucked. Raising the dead, bones, healing staffs, crystals, shapeshifters, possessed demons, casting out spirits and ghosts, healing niggas remotely, no Tesla nigga. You know who the fuck we are? We are the niggas that book is talking about in real life. Not the other way around. Not because I believe in something. Because niggas believe in something that one of my parents wrote about his own family. There's nothing for me to believe about that. I know niggas be joshing. I know niggas be adding on shit. But I also know I was been a kid my whole life and I've been praying and I lived through some impossible shit. One day I might write about it. Why the fuck would we be writing down the same story? I learned how to tie my shoes. I got a job where I can afford things. The end. Dwayne the Smith III. Like, the fuck? I don't mean to make fun of nobody who has that testimony, but you gotta understand what kind of asshole my family is. Because we kill assholes for a living. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, well, fucking amazing.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Better energy? Feeling good?
All day.
To God be the glory, bro.
Take care, buddy.
You too, man. It's all love out here, man. I know he can hit through those thin ass walls. Israelites are funny. But yeah. See how I read that fast? Because I think that's what they're calling psychic. I think it's pattern recognition because you acknowledge that there's patterns to recognize. Permission. I think more people would be psychic if they gave themselves permission to use their own brain. And give yourself safety to be wrong. Because you're not really wrong. You're missing knowledge. That impulse for you to guess is correct. What you're guessing means you lack experience and wisdom to guess correctly. But that pulse to guess, to judge, that's my psychic phenomenon. My ability to judge people and things is because I'm psychic. Or that's what that is. It's not because I'm psychic. It's the part of me that is psychic. There we go. I don't know how to describe psychic. What does that word mean? You know how we be. Niggas be knowing shit. You feel me? You understand? Yeah. Yeah, nigga, what's understood doesn't need to be, said or explained. Like, that's all psychic phenomenon chatter. And we think niggas just don't have a good use of language. They communicated a whole bunch of shit, like a big-ass picture idea worth of peeping game without saying nothing. And they be thinking, bro, Shogun, they be playing us like that, like we stupid. Like, we know how to, like, check the temperature and, like, give you the heads up without, like, making it seem like a benign conversation. Like, not only did we master niggatry and simplicity of the English language, but we communicate a whole, whether we're safe, whether we need to go, whether we need to jump this nigga, whether we need to shut this shit down or not, based on the nigga be like, yep, shit. It's about that time, man. Well, why didn't you just say that you're feeling uncomfortable? We could have asked if, and then I'm sure it didn't mean anything, and then da-da-da-da-da-da. I was like, bitch, I can tell your grandfather never had to cut a nigga head off before. Your father